everyone, so I know on a previous video I said I wasn't gonna get the Z Flip 5, but I bought one anyway, and so let's go over it and see how it stacks up. So in terms of the looks, this is the gray color, and to me it looks pretty awesome with the dark gray matte. Everything here, this is frosted glass and this is matte. I love that look better than glossy. I don't really care for glossy. Can't do anything about the screen, that's gonna be glossy, whatever. I like the Samsung exclusive colors better than the standard colors that are available, even though the standard ones are nice anyway. So I did come from the Fold 3, and this is a huge difference. It feels so much thinner, not having that gap there, or that triangle type shape, wedge shape when it's closed. That's a huge improvement. It does feel lighter than the Fold 3. I'm pretty sure it's again, I'm going 2 generations, so that's where you feel a bigger difference. I don't have the memory of holding a Fold 4. I don't know how that feels like, but this is a very comfortable and pretty light phone. So closing it, obviously you don't have a gap anymore. There are obvious plus sides to that, one being that less likely that somebody's gonna go in there and mess it up. Less dust will get in there for sure, because I know that from experience. When the phones close flush like this, flat like this, less dust enters the main screen. The way I've been hearing this explained, it makes sense to me, even though I still prefer to have a normal sized front cover display. And the way I'm hearing it explained lately is that this is their cover screen. They don't care for you to spend too much time on the screen. This is gonna be, I guess, comparable to the Flip 5's outer screen, where you can do pretty much everything you want, but you're only gonna want to use this when you're out and about and you just gotta send a quick message or just call someone. They really want you to focus on using the inner screen, which is their main screen, and I kind of get it. That's where that's where the experience is. I just don't think that every action should require you to go to the main screen, even though technically it doesn't with this phone, but you're gonna want to. So with the Flip 3, when I was home, I basically stayed with it open the whole time. I never even closed it. I just left it open, placed it down, and I would just leave the phone like that the whole time. I'm not sure if that's how they want you to use it, or maybe they want you to keep opening and closing it. I don't know. But for anyone that has pets or small children, I could see that being a problem, leaving it open. So having a more useful outside screen would definitely be beneficial. Coming from the Fold 3, the extra width that we get from the smaller bezels really does help. Any bit helps when adding width to this phone. I will say though, it is very comfortable to hold. I feel like it's super secure in my hand because I'm holding it in a way that, I mean, I can't hold any other phone like this. So that is very useful. It is very secure. It makes me feel very secure that I'm not going to drop the phone. Going from the Fold 4 to the Fold 5, the only real improvements are going to be that the hinge closes flat, so you don't get that gap. And then the other thing that you would benefit from is the chipset. Being the 8th generation 2, there are expected improvements in terms of efficiency. Coming from the Fold 3 though, I would say it's definitely a better upgrade. Besides the fact that you do get the 2 main ones that I mentioned, which is the hinge and the performance upgrade. Another reason why I personally would upgrade from the Fold 3 to the Fold 5 is the cameras. So I do like to use my cameras, and I know that these still aren't the best cameras, but they're comparable to, the S23. So they are gonna be good cameras. It does have the 3x zoom instead of a 5x or 10x zoom. So 3x is actually fairly useful, and it's gonna look better than the 2X on the Fold 3. From the Fold 3 to the Fold 5, you're gonna get an upgrade on the sensor. You're gonna get a larger sensor with 50 megapixels compared to the 12 megapixels that came with the Fold 3. If I had the Fold 3 or older, I would definitely upgrade to the Fold 5, especially if you like the form factor. And in terms of experience, yeah, the outside screen is not going to be the best experience with the Samsung. It's an alright experience, but the inner screen is really unmatched when it comes to Samsung. So another thing that was improved from the Fold 3 to the Fold 5 is the under display camera. Not that the camera's better, but that it's hidden better. I don't really care about the inside camera too much. To me, it's a great feature. I love it. And when honestly, even with the Fold 3 that didn't have the grid array as compact, it still provided a great experience because it would be at the edge of where I'm looking on a video. My eyes wouldn't really notice it unless I look directly at it. So with the Fold 5, it is a tighter grid and it's gonna hide it even better, and it's gonna provide a better experience. It really gives you that full screen experience without, removing the camera entirely. The other thing that was improved was the brightness, and having 1750 nits of brightness on the main screen, the inside screen, is definitely going to be beneficial. It's not the most detrimental thing to have a lower brightness on the outside, but having this on there really gives you the option to use the inner screen without having to worry about, okay, I gotta find the shade, or I gotta cover the screen, or change the angle at which I'm looking at it. 1750 nits really does let you use the inside screen in any situation. So in terms of the camera, it's a really good camera. I'm not gonna say it's a bad camera. It's comparable to the best out there in the folding market. All it's really missing is a larger telescopic lens, one that reaches further. But the pictures that come out of this are really good, especially when compared to the Fold 3. The Fold 3 wasn't bad. I'm not gonna say the Fold 3 was bad, but the Fold 3 was it was comparable to the Flip series. It was good for normal pictures, close-ups, selfies, things like that. But anytime you will go to any sort of landscape, you really want the extra largest sensors and more megapixels to really capture some extra detail. And that's kind of where it kind of lacked. So with the Fold 4 and now the Fold 5, you do have the larger sensor, 50 megapixel, and you do at least have a 3x. So even though it's not ideal, or actually it's pretty good, 3x reaches pretty far. It's not good enough for, capturing images of animals or something, but 3x is pretty good. It reaches pretty far. And then with the 3x, you can go to 6x and still have a really good picture, or even up to 9x to have a decent picture. Talking about the inside camera, even though it's not great, I will give it to Samsung that you can unlock it with facial recognition with the inside camera, which is something that you can't do on the Pixel, and we'll compare that more a little bit later. But I do like the fact that Samsung actually lets you unlock the phone with facial recognition with the inside camera. Now, the trade-in incentives are not terrible for the Fold 5, but obviously having that larger price gap is gonna still make you bring out a lot of money out of pocket. The best case scenario for the Fold 5 was $1,000 off, or $1,000 trade-in value. So that pretty much puts the phone at $800 starting. With the pre-orders, you were able to get the great trade-in values plus the storage upgrade. So $1,800 for the 512 gigabyte model is actually really good in terms of, comparing to the competition. And it kind of was, I wouldn't say a no-brainer because there's still a lot of money coming out of your pocket. The Fold 3 they gave, I think it was $800. So $1,000 to go from the Fold 3 to the Fold 5 really isn't bad, especially since you're getting the 512 gigabyte model. So I would say Fold 3, trading it in, it definitely was worth going for that deal. Plus, if you were able to get, the early sign up $50 bonus, it will come out to about $950, so that's not too bad. For me, I paid pretty much full price. I paid $1,600 instead of $1,800. Even at $1,800 with the pre-order deals, it's actually a pretty good price compared to what's out there in the US. I am excited to check out the battery efficiency. So with the Z Fold 3 that I had, The battery efficiency I will get with my setup, because I will do a lot of, I'm mainly on Wi-Fi, so I do save a lot of battery by not having to, you know, use mobile network, which does drain the battery quite a bit. I will get 6 or more hours of screen on time with the Z Fold 3. So I'll expect to easily pass 7 or 8 with this one, since I'm mostly on Wi-Fi. I will report on that on a later video. I just gotta spend some time and really use it to see how much it really does improve. The other thing is you do get use of the S Pen, which is huge, because S Pen really does make things a lot easier and more useful. So there are a lot of features on the Fold 5 that really do honestly makes this the best folding phone still. Maybe not the best folding phone for everyone, but in terms of features and functionality, I think this is probably still the best folding phone. I wouldn't upgrade from the Fold 4. I would only upgrade from the Fold 3 or older. It's just that you're not really getting it for basically nothing. You're still putting in basically almost $1,000 to get it at best case scenario. So it's not a no-brainer to upgrade. You really have to think about it, but I would say Fold 3 or older, it's definitely worth thinking about and possibly upgrading. So those are my thoughts on the phone. Definitely not a negative review by any means. Everything about the phone is positive. It's all the upgrades are better than the Fold 4, even though it's just slightly. It's just, I don't think it's worth upgrading it in every situation. So hopefully you found the video helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.